secured the account where I worked, which was a dealership, and so not only did he clean the dealership that I worked at. Oh, there's a bug on my microphone. Sorry, I'll cut that out. Anyway, so anyway, I helped him get it. Not only did he clean the dealership I worked at, but he also cleaned other dealerships that the owner owned. I worked at a Toyota store, but he cleaned like the Chevy store and Jeep store and Cadillac store. Anyway, I was influential in helping him get that, and he was just started, so it was a risk, but I trusted him to do a good job, and he did. But after several years, there were issues along the way. That's a tough business, and you're dealing with like entry-level positions and usually younger people, and obviously nothing is ever perfect, and it went bad a couple times, and eventually they let him go. But it was many, many years later, and lots and lots and lots of money later. He did really good financially there, and so fast forward, this is after he doesn't do that anymore, and I don't work at the dealership anymore. We had connected, and he had called me to ask me about could I give him a number of a good appraiser, and I did. I knew I had another friend that I have that owned his own appraisal company, just a really neat guy. So I referred him to this other friend, and he got the appraisal. Well, I didn't really, at the time, I was just kind of thinking about maybe doing real estate. Initially, when I retired from the dealership, I did not plan to work again, but after working like 70 hours a week and going and working zero and just reading and walking my dogs, and it was too much of an extreme. So I thought, something in a happy medium. I went from working like crazy to not working at all, and so I thought a happy medium, and I thought about real estate. I had my real estate license since 2001 because it was always something that I had thought I would leave the dealership. I didn't really like that job, but I was good at it, and it paid me good money, so I stayed. I just let the owner keep talking me into it. I tried to quit a couple times, but I let him talk me out of it, and I ended up staying. But so at any rate, once I decided that I needed to do something else during the day just to feel more productive, and I figured that the extra money I make, I could help people out, and I'd use that extra money that I made to, instead of saving it, which I did with my money from the dealership so that I could retire early, I decided to spend it. So that's my current plan, and right now I haven't made a lot of money yet. I've not been doing it very long, but I have some great ideas, and I have a lot of activity coming and a lot of production coming, so I'm going to get the opportunity to help people out, and I'm going to start by getting my brother a work van for his construction company, because he needs a new work vehicle. But anyway, I'm getting off topic here a little bit, but anyway, long story short, he reached out to me after it, or no, I called him just to ask him, did he get a hold of Charles? This is kind of where I knew I was going to get into real estate, and so I just was curious, why he was needing an appraiser, and so he said, yeah, I'm getting ready to sell my house, and I'm like, you're not going to believe this, I'm getting into real estate. And he was like, oh my god, that's wild, that's cool, and one thing led to another, and he agreed to let me sell his house for him. He was not going to buy another house yet, he just needed his house sold. His father had just passed away, and he was going to go and live on his mom's property. They have another building, like was colder. It had gotten warm, and then it was just like a cold day in the middle of just, we had had warm weather for probably a month, and then, or maybe 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden there was like a frost. So he was going to have the yard mowed that morning and then get the pictures taken, so just everything looked the greatest. And he called me that morning and said his mower couldn't come because the frost, he couldn't mow in the frost. He would have to wait till later, and he said, I'd just rather do it another day. I said, okay, and I just rescheduled. Well, I called him the next day, when can we reschedule? And he just was very standoffish and kind of just like put it off. And then one night he called me and said, yeah, look, we started talking about stuff and like all the things we had been through. And he knew me when my brother died, and I know that night he was intending to tell me, but he just couldn't. He couldn't do it. The next day, I was at my real estate office, and I was new, so I was having a woman. She was showing me how to set something up on my computer that was relevant to finding homes for people. And I'm in the room with her, and my phone rings. Of course, it's my cell phone, so I'm in her office, and I said, "Excuse me, this is my client that's going to let me list his home." And it was on that call that he told me that he was going to use a woman that lived in his neighborhood instead of using me, because he thought she could, it was more likely that she could sell the home than me. And it was really quite shocking because he knew me and he knew my ability, my sales skills, and that I'm great with people, and that, if anybody could do it, I could do it. I think he would have to know that. But he lived in this addition that you have to pay like a really high fee to live there because it's a gated community. And like, it's crazy because you can't even build wealth there in your real estate because all your wealth gets paid in lot dues. It's like lot rent in a trailer park. You have to pay to live there. Not only pay to buy the house, but pay to live there and pay property taxes. I mean, it's just crazy. So at the end of the day, he felt like the woman that lived in the neighborhood could sell the benefits of living in the neighborhood better than I could. Like, you have to live there to know something. It's like having to own a Ferrari to know how wonderful they are. I'm like, really? I can sell this. It's a cool setup, Financially, it's not for the weak at heart because, again, it's expensive to live in there. But they're beautiful homes. The home, he was going to list the home for $835,000. $835,000. This was the price of the home. So that's what he wanted to sell it for, and it was higher than my friend had appraised it for, but that's what he felt he could get. There weren't a lot of, every home in there is unique, and he felt he had a very unique home. It had like an in-laws quarters, like a separate house on the property. It was really a neat property, but at the end of the day, that's what happened. So this woman is not even a real estate agent. She is an assistant to a real estate agent. So the fact that he picked her over me was just like shocking. Now, in his defense, the woman had sold a property in there. I ran the research on her sales number, and she had sold a property in there and another property in there as well. But obviously, because she knows everybody in there, that's how she's getting them. It wasn't sales skills. And he ended up selling the home after like 6 months. It was for sale, and it sold for $700,000. So he lost $135,000 from not getting what he wanted. He took $135,000 less. Now, also in his defense, my commission fee, because I was new with my company, was going to be 5.16, and she was willing to do it for 5. Now, that was when we talked, so maybe she went lower. Maybe she did it for 4 point something percent. But at the end of I work for the largest real estate company in the state of Indiana, and second place doesn't even sell half as many homes as we do. I mean, that's how much bigger the company I work for is than second place, and the company she worked for wasn't even second place. And the benefit to that is that all the company that I work for, which is FC Tucker, all their agents, all of them, they get to see the properties. They are exposed to the list of our own homes, more so than other homes, and there are more Tucker agents, and just a lot of benefits to being with this company as far as exposure goes. So he made a bad decision, and it cost him a lot of money, and now I'm making the assumption that I could have sold it for more than her, which I just know that I could have. You know, I had so many clients during that time frame that, not that I didn't purposefully steer him to their home, but I could have exposed his home even personally a lot more, but, you know, it would have pressed my clients. But again, why didn't I do it? There was a part of me that thought I would do it just to spite him. You know, that he would do that to me, just smack me in the face after I had helped him. It was kind of odd. I was angry at him for a while, but then it kind of settled in that, you know, I know that he made the decision out of fear. He was afraid. He was afraid of the home not selling. He was afraid of the home sitting for 6 months and not selling for near the amount that he wanted. And he focused on his fear, and that's what he got. And that's a lesson in life, that you focus on what you want, not what you're afraid of. You know, like race car drivers don't focus on the wall, they focus on the pavement. If they focused on the wall, they hit the wall, you know, and that's what he did. He made a bad decision out of fear. He felt like because I was new, I was a risk. He didn't know that because I was new, I was on fire, and I was a lethal force to be reckoned with. And I would have fought to my death to sell that home for a great amount of money. So, get this. This is a story he told me one time. It was a story about the turtle and the scorpion. And they're in the desert, and the monsoon rains are coming. And the water starts filling up the desert. And the turtle is fine because the turtle can live on dry land or water, either one. But the scorpion cannot live in water. And so the scorpion is continuing to scurry to higher and higher ground until he finds himself on a sandbar that is slowly getting engulfed with the water. And there's less and less sand by the minute. And about that time, the scorpion sees the turtle floating by, and he yells to the turtle, "Hey turtle, please give me a ride. Give me a ride to that big island over there so I can survive. Otherwise, it won't be long and this little sandbar will be covered in water and I'm trapped. I can't get off." But the turtle said to himself, "Man, that's a scorpion. I should not help him. I should not go over there. I know better." And so he says to the scorpion, "No. I know better than to help you. You'll sting me with that stinger and I'll die." And the scorpion says to the turtle, No, I would not do that. Why would I hurt you if all you're going to do is help me? I won't hurt you if you just help me, please. Well, the turtle had a good heart, and he thought to himself, it makes sense. I mean, why on earth would he sting me? I'm not trying to hurt him, and I'm helping him out, and I'm going to give him a ride. So the turtle said, I'll just do the right thing. And so he goes over to the sandbar just in the nick of time, and the scorpion jumps onto his back, and knew I was a Scorpion. And that's the irony of the situation with that friend. He had told me that story years and years ago. And I think that, in the end, it was his way of saying, be careful around me because I will hurt you. But, it's really sad. But I've tried to make contact with them a couple times since then, just to kind of try to make peace, because it really bothered me that he did it. And then my being hurt over it turned into concern for him, because he, I knew that he was doing it out of fear. And then that concern for him turned into just realizing who he is as a person, that maybe he wasn't even doing it out of fear. It was just stupidity, because he's just truly a wicked person, and he truly is a Scorpion. I think that's what it was. And so now I just want to stay away from him. But that's kind of the evolution of that situation, If I would have made this video 6 months ago, I would have talked about it, and I would have said, can you believe he did that to me? Oh, I'm crushed, I'm devastated, And then it moved into, oh, well, I wasn't, I sold a few homes since then, and I just looked at it as practice, and I just started thinking it just was such an odd thing to go through, that's when I started thinking maybe it wasn't me, maybe it was him, and it was just because he was afraid. And then it turned into, once I can ever make contact with him after multiple attempts to get a hold of him, and him just avoiding me, it turned into just letting him go, because it's obvious he doesn't care for me like I cared for him, or he would have reached out, he would have made amends when I was stretching out my hand to say, hey, let's put it behind us and move on. He did not. He did not accept it. And it's sad. But it's life. And luckily I have other people in my life that are good and would trust me with anything and wouldn't even think about using anybody